Let's talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I will start with no spoilers. For those who live under a rock, in 2017 a movie called Justice League was released. Zack Snyder directed and made most of the movie, but then he left the project and Joss Whedon took it from him. He made some major changes and released it. Fans were disappointed and launched a campaign for the studio to release the movie Snyder was going to make. I didn't believe it would ever happen, but once again I underestimated the power of the internet. You guys asked for it, and we really got Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I'm glad we did. But let's start with the first thing you notice. This movie has an aspect ratio of 4:3. That means there will be 2 black bars on your TV. But that doesn't mean the movie has been cut and the black bars have been added. This is really how this movie was made. And the 2017 version was simply trimmed to a more popular proportions. I thought it would be distracting, but very quickly I stopped seeing them and started enjoying the movie. And I must say right away that this is a much more satisfying version than the previous one. Everything is better. Storylines, characters, fights, visuals and sound. But let's start with the story. It's amazing how the story was improved. It's the same story in general, but much better told. You can understand the characters and the story makes more sense and flows smoother. Even though this movie is very long, you are invested right away and want to know what will happen next. I haven't watched the Justice League since it premiered in 2017 and I didn't remember much of it. Only some fights remain in my memory. So when I watched Zack's version, I got the feeling that I was watching most of the scenes for the first time. I had to refresh my memory and check the 2017 version again. And it's amazing how the same scenes have completely different feelings. Because many scenes are the same, but removing silly jokes and adding cutted shots improved them a lot. It turned out that all the bad jokes from the old version were added after Snyder left. Because there are jokes in his version, but now they work and are funny. I even like the music and the sound effects more. But the characters have been improved the most. Now they have better motivation and dialogue. You can understand them much more as there are many new scenes explaining what they are going through. But more scenes means more time. And for some, this may be a problem, as this movie is 4 hours long. When I recommended it to my friend, he didn't want to see it, because it was too long for him. But fortunately, this movie is divided into 8 parts, and there is information on when each starts. So for people who don't have that much time, or just don't want to watch a 4-hour movie, I would recommend it, treating it as the TV show, and divided it into 4 episodes of 1 hour each. So the first episode includes the opening credits, part 1 and part 2. The second episode is only part 3. The third is 4 and 5, and the rest will be in the 4th episode. I watched it in 1 day, but that's how I watched it, as a mini show. So you can see that I really like this movie, and I think every comic fan or just Zack Snyder fan must see it. But that's Snyder's style, so it's dark, but luckily less than his previous films, and this one is a more uplifting movie. But it is worth noting that it has an R rating. There is blood and colorful language. Honestly, it didn't add anything special to the story, but some fight scenes are more brutal and look better without restrictions. So if you get the chance, give this movie a watch, and you might have as much fun as I did. Now let's start my spoilers. It's amazing how each character is better in this version. Some are now completely different and have a much greater impact on the story. But I will go from minor changes to the most. The fewest changes were made to Wonder Woman, and now compared to the other characters, she feels like a character that explains things to us that we need to know. Of course, this is logical, since she is the oldest and most knowledgeable, but luckily, her fights are much better now, and she has received an update to her soundtrack. So every time she does something awesome, we can hear this. And I really like this new music, and I get the feeling that in 2017 version they tried to force some chemistry with Batman and her. It didn't work, and it was awkward. But the new version doesn't have these scenes. It is more focused on teamwork and relationships between all heroes. Now Batman feels more open-minded and more like a sequel to his story from Batman v Superman. He was dark and suspicious of everyone. Now he has evolved and is ready to open up to other people. But that's mostly because a lot of the scenes have been cut. His jokes and awkward interaction with Alfred and Diana are gone.
Something is definitely bleeding.
Overall, there is less Batman, so there is more room for other characters. A similar change has been made to Aquaman. He was shown as a redneck. He screamed and was a comic relief. Now he's still rough and funny, but now it's toned down. It's an excellent introduction to him. Honestly, it would be great to see it before watching his solo movie. It gives him a little more depth, but the biggest changes were made to Cyborg and Flash. Previously, Flash was only there to make silly jokes and be awkward. Now he's more competent and has my favorite action scenes. His powers are shown in amazing ways, and before that I didn't care about him. Now I'm looking forward to his solo movie. But there's a little problem. Zack Snyder's version is not officially canon, so I have no idea what route they will take in his film, but hopefully they will base it on this version rather than the 2017 one. The same goes for Cyborg. I wasn't a fan of his, but he's one of my favorites now. He has changed the most. He has so many great scenes that build his backstory and show his life in general. I didn't like him because he was acting like some moody teenager, but now he's the heart of this movie. His relationship with his father and new powers are crucial to the story. We feel him struggling to adapt to his new look and new skills, and those look so much more immersive. Now when he uses them, we see him in virtual reality. He learns how to use his abilities and has to decide whether to use them for good or bad, and his father tries to help him. And now he's much more important. He allows us to get a closer look at Cyborg's life and has a real impact on the story. And these are the biggest changes to the main characters, but there were also more changes to the supporting cast. The big bad guy feels so much better now. From a cartoon evil villain, he becomes more real, and that improved the overall story. Now we know the reason why he's there and why he does what he does. He is still not a great villain, but now he has checked all the boxes to make him a good one. His appearance has been updated to a more pleasant one. The same happened with his secret hideout. Overall, many of the special effects look nice, but some look a little unfinished at times, and you can tell something is wrong. But most of them look good, and all the action scenes look fantastic and exciting. There are wonderful new action scenes. But the scenes that were in 2017 version look better too, and these are good changes. There are also those who just are. Lois Lane has more scenes, and one great conversation with another character, but that is undermined by some weird twist that I will cover in full spoilers. So she has a different storyline, but she is still easy to cut and not much will change. There are also small changes to Superman. They improved him, but he has so little screen time that it doesn't really change much. I would say the same for the other new characters. There are some that makes us look forward to the future movies, but that's not canon, so it doesn't really matter. And the only part I really didn't like was the last 15 minutes. It seemed unfinished and tack on. It would leave a much better aftertaste without it. Overall, I think it would be easy to cut 30 minutes and the movie would still be great. Maybe even an hour can be cut, but it would be difficult. And here I would like to talk about the 2017 version. I'm so glad it was so bad, because there is no way we could get this 4-hour version in 2017. It's too long to be watched in the cinema, and splitting it into 2 movies would give us a movie that's just set up and the other just pay off. Each of them would not be a full movie. So the studio made the wrong decision trying to turn it into a Marvel movie and adding stupid jokes at the last minute. And since Batman and Wonder Woman were both very well liked characters, they decided to focus on them and cut out the Cyborg and Flash stories. Even though Cyborg was very important in the movie, but honestly, Snyder's previous film was very badly received, so they tried to control the damage and change course. People didn't like the dark tone of the previous one, so make it lighter. I didn't like Batman v Superman, and watching Man of Steel was painful for me, so I understand their decision. But now I think Snyder just needs to learn how to make shorter movies, because he creates enormous stories that after interfering with the studio are cut into shorter ones that don't make sense as they weren't planned to be watched that way. Maybe he would make better TV shows than movies. Who knows? Maybe DC will try to copy Marvel and start making TV shows with their superheroes from the big screen, and then Snyder would be perfect for it. Now let's talk about the score.
As for the visuals, I'm giving 9. Everything looks great, the special effects are good, there are some hiccups, but it wasn't that serious for me. As for the audio, I give it an 8. Good sound design and sound effects. For the story, I give an 8. This is a more personal story and therefore a more interesting one. I also give 8 for acting. Good acting, but nothing special. Standard superhero stuff. For improvement over the 2017 version, I'm giving 10. It's amazing how this movie has changed. It's a cool story about how the same movie can look so different. So overall I'm giving. This is a must-see for Snyder fans and those disappointed with the 2017 version. An improvement in every way and a fantastic movie. But it's long, so maybe break it up into several sessions. Out of 10.
I was planning on doing one review with full spoilers at the end, but there are so many things to it that there will be another video with full spoilers. For now, I'm wondering what you thought when you heard that this movie is 4 hours long. And as always, if you like this video, leave a like. And to see more videos like this, click on this button. See ya.